And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and always providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, and estate planning, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, and most importantly, we want to engage with you so that we can help you win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. That's our consumer advocate hotline number. You can call or text that line anytime, and it's an off-air number, so you can feel free to reach out at any time. Also, bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. A plethora of information available for you on our website at consumerqb.com. You can see links to all of our expert contributors, and we want to help you win in any marketplace. That's our goal. It's Intelligent Talk Radio. I've got some intelligent folks here in studio with me today. Lindsay Rhymes, Feng Shui of Tampa Bay. Welcome in.
Thank you.
What are we going to talk about today?
So we're going to talk about Feng Shui, mostly residential on the show today. I also do Feng Shui for commercial as well. And people ask, what is Feng Shui? You know, what does that have to deal with? And it's basically the energy of the space that you're in. How does it feel? Do you want it to feel differently? And there are some really simple things that we can do to make some corrections and add a different vibe into that space. So we're going to talk through that today.
And also pranic healing of Palm Harbor.
Yeah, pranic healing. Pranic healing of Palm Harbor ties into Feng Shui of Tampa Bay, and that's basically just energy healing. So cleansing the chakras, cleaning and energizing the aura, just kind of making somebody feel a little bit lighter. People will say they feel more calm, more peaceful after having an energy clearing session. And with Feng Shui, sometimes I go into a space and it's not necessarily the space. It might actually be the people in the space. They're feeling a little bit, bogged down, or they're having maybe even some physical health issues. Could be mental, could be emotional, and sometimes just cleaning that energy from their mental body or their emotional body will actually physically make them feel better. So both of them kind of incorporate together.
All right, good stuff. Also, we got Mika in the house, HGTV's 90-day dream home. Welcome in.
Thank you so much for having me. You almost got it right. It's actually Mika.
Mika McGee. See, I wrote it down,
No
too.
worries. I'll answer to either one.
And your husband is Brian as well.
Brian Kleinschmidt, yes.
Okay.
He couldn't be here today, so I'm representing for both of us to talk about the new project that we have. I mean, we are super excited to put Tampa in the spotlight. So we are basically filming the rest of the season. People saw the first episode. It actually aired April 27th, premiered on a Saturday night at 10 p.m. And we were so lucky. We had a lot of support. And we actually had a lot of viewership, so the ratings were great. So we're going to season.
Nice.
We'll be filming the rest of that, basically about 8 more episodes. So the end of the year is the deadline, and hoping to air the full season starting early next year.
Cool. That's awesome. That's got to be exciting. So they premiered it at 10 o'clock, which is, I guess, for a Saturday night, it's a little bit, that's good. You can skew it a little bit later.
Yes, absolutely.
So that was good. Then you had a good feedback from the network.
Yes, I probably can't say the numbers, but I will say it beat out like the NFL draft. There was a couple things that night that I was like, oh my gosh, that's pretty impressive.
That is cool.
Without having a lot of advertisement either, because when they typically the way the networks will kind of do it is when they're kind of experimenting with the show that they're not sure if they're going to green light, they'll just air one episode and basically just see the raw numbers come in to see if people stay tuned in.
That's cool.
And we were really, really happy that it came out positive for us.
That's really cool. So the premise of the show is to literally build a single-family home in 90 days. Is that right? That's
right. It's basically 100% new construction. I think, we're really saturated in the networks right now with rehabs and flipping. So we wanted to find a way to bring something new that basically is not a category on HGTV yet.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the reason I think that we even had the opportunity to do this show, is that we presented something to them that they're like, ooh, wait a minute, we don't already, have that. So hopefully we can, keep the energy high and keep rocking and rolling.
Very cool. And I like that line you said, Mika. You said, you do the design, Brian does the dirt.
Yeah, he gets dirty,
Okay, he gets in there.
Yep.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Stay with us here on the show. And so our official hotel partner here is the Bilmar Beach Resort, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Gulf Boulevard, Treasure Island, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, is the Bilmar Beach Resort over on beautiful Treasure Island, filled with fantastic and generous amenities to make your vacation that much more special. The Bilmar Beach Resort has been one of the most sought-after destinations in the Treasure Island area for many years, and I love it when we go to visit. They have 2 pools on site. They've got Sloppy Joe's restaurant and beach bar, and of course it's just a quick walk and you're out in the beautiful waters of Tampa Bay. A couple of hot listings here. As you know, I'm the owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty here in Tampa Bay. I've got a new hot listing that's right outside of Tampa here, 4309 Frierson Avenue in Tampa. There's an opportunity here to build 2 quadplexes. So you've got total of 8 units here available on this property. The property's listed at $140-something thousand. Just a great opportunity outside of downtown Tampa. 4309 East Frierson Avenue in Tampa. Just a really good investment opportunity for builders and developers out there. Also just listed 9200 Gun Highway. This is at the corner of Racetrack Road and Gun Highway right here in Odessa, Florida. Again, another great opportunity at 2.39 acres in Odessa, zoned RSC-2. So you have half an acre lots or larger single-family conventional development, and it's conveniently located, of course, close to Tampa International Airport. Just listed prime available land here in Tampa Bay. Check out PlatinumMVPTeam.com. All right, so let's jump right into it. We got Lindsay Rhymes here, Feng Shui of Tampa Bay. So you're also a realtor, so you have that unique blend of having the practical side of real estate mixed with a little bit more of the artistic side of Feng Shui.
Yeah, that's right. And it's actually really fun to incorporate with our clients. As Mika was saying, there's a lot of rehab going on. There's a lot of flipping going on. When we're working with a client that's getting ready to list their property, we're looking at things that we can do to increase the value that you're also going to get a return on. And when you can do that, keeping in mind the energetic flow of things, you're going to get a lot better of a result. One thing I love with what Mika's doing is she's starting from scratch. So that's pretty amazing. We just built our own home, and it was awesome to be able to make those decisions right from the get-go instead of having to turn around and correct those sort of mistakes. Different energies come from different directions, so whether it's the north, the south, the east, or the west, based on the room and what vibe you want to take those directions into consideration. So, for example, I would want my office to have a totally different vibe and feel than, let's say, the master bedroom or maybe even the nursery. So keeping in mind where the bed is facing, which way the desk is facing, all of those things come into consideration. And actually, when you utilize that in listings or when you're working with buyers, it's going to help the property sell faster. It's going to help the clients to be more comfortable in the home. So it's actually really fun interacting with the clients related to the Feng Shui.
Yeah, Feng Shui is definitely a growing area of, being recognized by more people. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you say? Yeah, because over the years it's been one of those things that's it's not as mainstream. It's becoming more mainstream now.
Yeah, I think people are becoming more aware, whether it's Feng Shui or energy healing. It's a very common topic. I talk to a lot of people about it. I think it kind of goes along with the movement of eating healthier, thinking, more environmentally friendly, being more green. It's that whole movement that's happening across the nation right now. And it's very exciting and rewarding to be part of that movement and to help people think differently and expand on that awareness. Mm-hmm. So it's really interesting. A lot of people already know about it. One thing with Feng Shui, most people have heard of more of the traditional Feng Shui. So they might be educated in Chinese feng shui or a different culture. And a lot of those cultures have superstitions or they have traditions. And the reason why they might be doing something really isn't going back to the energy. It's going back to a superstition or a tradition. So when you think about feng shui, with me, I'm doing pranic feng shui. So I'm actually going in and I'm feeling the energy of the space. I'm feeling the energy of the people, of the objects. It's not based off of a tradition. It's really based off of the energy. And that's one big difference with what I'm doing. So people have heard of feng shui. A lot of times it's more of a traditional feng shui that they're thinking of. With this, I can really cater to the client and get optimal results.
Very cool. All right, well, we're going to go into our break here. We got a feel-good story coming at you. More from our expert contributors here in studio. Lindsay Rhymes, Feng Shui of Tampa Bay. Yamika McGee, HGTV's 90-day Dream Home here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And our feel-good story of the day is a good one. Toddler diagnosed with rare ovarian cancer is now cancer-free. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Also got a business called the Business Growth Celebrity Academy, BGCA.co. We launched this company with Ken Shamrock, the former UFC Hall of Famer and WWF legend. BGCA.co is our website. We'd love for you to check it out. Daily webinars running there at BGCA.co, where you will build micro celebrity to grow your wealth, build personal brand, and increase your status. Anyone can become a micro celebrity. It's easy. Check out bgca.co, where you can see all of our webinars running every single day online. And we are back here in studio. Lindsay Rhymes in the house, Feng Shui of Tampa Bay, Pranic Healing, Palm Harbor. We got Yamika McGee as well, HGTV's 90-Day Dream Home. Really cool story there as well. So let's jump right into that. So Mika, yes, how did this whole thing come about? Because I heard some of the stories, and I heard something about a Super Bowl commercial.
Oh, gosh.
Is that right, with Brian?
My husband can't sit still. He actually, back about 10 years ago, was flipping houses in Nashville. And this is before him and I were together. And put it this way, he almost lost everything that he had. So basically, he got a little greedy, I think, did a couple more projects at one time than he should have, and just really, really got close to, basically losing it all.
Yep.
So I feel for him, he's always had that time in his life that he feels like he wants to kind of, recover from or just kind of prove that he can make it happen. So, I mean, that was kind of his background. My background, I mean, him and I started doing real estate investment with a builder in Pinellas, and this is probably about 5-6 years ago. And we started with flipping. We did a couple of those and realized that not only are the margins getting slimmer, but the amount of time, our first flip was over in Reddington Shores area.
Yep.
And so we're like, oh yeah, we can just put some paint, do a little bit of this. But once we started really digging into the home, there was just so many unforeseen problems that arise. So, I mean, we didn't lose money, but it took a long time, and it really wasn't worth it for what we made at the end.
Right.
So we were like, man, there's got to be easier ways to make money on investment real estate. So we partnered up with a builder that was kind of just getting started. And what we would do is find the lots in different locations and kind of purchase those and JV with the builder, and I would be the listing agent. So we did that for a couple years, and we're really, really successful. I think that planted the seed of, man, like, why aren't they showing new construction? And we were doing our builds back then. We had some builds that were like 72 days. Now, granted, these were not custom for, we didn't have a buyer on the front end, right? So we got to pick and design and just do the spec homes. So the decision-making process was much easier because you can just select it yourself, and you don't necessarily have to like hold someone's hand to make all those decisions. But that planted the seed, and it's been 2 years in the making since we first pitched the idea to the network. So, I want people to know it is not as easy as it sounds. I don't know what the exact stats are, but I know that they get so many different ideas pitched to them every year. So to even make it to a sizzle reel is a big, accomplishment.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's probably why we're so ready to rock and roll, because we've had this dream and kind of not putting things on hold in your life, but just staying focused for that long amount of time and not losing hope that it'll happen.
Sure.
And now it's like becoming real, and we're kind of like, oh my gosh, it's really happening. But it's all good, man. It really is.
So the Super Bowl commercial was not. Did I just pick that up from somewhere? Or was that
he did do a Super Bowl commercial. There was a contest. Man, I want to say it was 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
Doritos does this contest called Crash the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it's basically amateurs that make a 30-second commercial. And you enter this contest, and like the winner gets $1 million or whatever. So he actually did this commercial. His dad was in the commercial. It was called Miss Spelling Bee. And if you go on YouTube, you can still see it. It actually was really funny. But we made it to the top 10. So they flew us out to go to the Super Bowl. Wined and dined us for 3 or 4 days. We ended up not winning the $1 million. But I think, again, it's like, we're not afraid to take risk and put ourselves out there.
That's cool.
And I think, people sometimes in life, they don't take risks because they're worried about what other people are going to say or think. And you just gotta live your life for you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's pretty cool. So I didn't just pull that out of thin air. I thought it was something. So that's pretty cool. So HGTV 90-Day Dream Home coming up. So right now, where are you at? You're looking for local artists, people that might want to be involved?
So since the first episode aired, we waited a couple weeks to get the Nielsen ratings back, and we're like basically just like on edge until we knew, okay, is this good? Is it bad? How many people watched it? And then right after that, we started rocking and rolling. So we just had the network come down last week, actually, and they met with several builders that we're partnering up with. But we're still looking. We're still wanting to highlight builders, local artists. I'm going to have Lindsay come in there and feng shui every single house before the reveal because we need the good energy vibes, girl.
Yeah.
So we're going to make sure that we highlight. We want to keep it local and really try to take this opportunity to highlight the community that we love, which is Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it's such a great area. We were just talking about that yesterday's show about how, a lot of times these national numbers come out. They're talking about a buyer's market. We're shifting from a seller's market to a buyer's market. But I'm looking at the Pinellas County realtor numbers here. I was just looking at these stats, and it doesn't show that. It doesn't show much of that. Now, each zip code is going to be different. Each micro market is going to be a little bit different. But just looking at the absorption rate, for example, April 2018 was 49%. 2019 is 51% absorption rate. The absorption rate was down in March. It was down from 48% down to 39%. But just in general, Tampa, St. Pete, Palm Harbor, Clearwater, Bradenton, Sarasota, what a great area to live, work, and play.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we love it.
Tops in the country, especially when you take into account the absence of a state income tax, the ability to have, all types of recreation, professional sports, outdoor sports, museums and art galleries. There's just so much here. We got WrestleMania coming up. I don't know if you're a WWF or WWE fan, but
I don't watch it, but I like to wrestle.
There you go. All right. There you go. Yeah. So the WWE is coming up. You've got Super Bowl coming up here in Tampa Bay. Of course, a lot of NCAA sports, the USF Bulls, all kinds of cool stuff in the area. So yeah, I agree. It's one of the best markets to be in, especially even comparing East Coast versus West Coast. It costs you a lot more money in Fort Lauderdale, Miami.
Oh, absolutely. You're right. And it's just like the timing has kind of worked out for us. Like the show with what's going on in the community and how much growth we're seeing. I'm like, I can't believe, honestly, that there hasn't already been something out here because it's amazing to me. So yeah, we're pretty stoked.
So talk to us about this 90-day build. Sometimes when I've mentioned it to a couple of people in the building, we said, 90-day build. They said, well, how can you build a house in 90 days?
They're like, it's crap. It's going to go down with a hurricane.
Permitting.
But no, permitting. So what we do is we are basically doing the process from groundbreaking to the finished product. So obviously we know permitting 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes longer, but that's not so entertaining for the viewers, so we're not including that. So we're basically saying 90 days from the groundbreaking to the finished product. And there's several builders, and people are just like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that is even possible. And what I also want to remind people is that these homes have to go through the same inspection period or, inspections as a home that takes a year or 2 years to build. So, we're not cutting corners, and these are real families, and they're, living in these homes. So it's very important to us that, people realize that there's quality, and there's going to be some that are going to be skeptical, and that's okay because they'll tune in to see if we can do it, and they're helping our ratings.
That's right. Yeah. That's what Muhammad Ali used to say. He said, those that don't like me tune in to see me lose. The ones that do like me tune in to see me win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. I love that quote from him. And what type of homes are you building? Are 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot homes?
It's a variety. I mean, honestly, it's a variety. The first episode, we did a home over in Seminole Heights, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, craftsman style bungalow, right around 2,000 square feet. But, one thing that we have to make sure we're doing with each episode is highlighting a different type of architecture.
Yeah.
We don't want to show every house in Florida looks like this.
Yeah.
I live in a neighborhood right now that's kind of like, it's a little cookie cutter, and you've got like 5 different colors to choose from. So we want to make sure we highlight different architecture styles. And that's why we have to pair up with, more than just one builder, because obviously normally builders will kind of have their staple and the types of homes they build.
Right.
So yeah, we're making sure to keep a variety and different parts of Tampa. We already done Seminole Heights, so we're going to be going all over St. Pete, Clearwater, Plant City even. So there's opportunity for a lot to grow.
I like that. If you just joined us, Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the show. We're talking with Yamika McGee, 90-Day Dream Home on HGTV coming up. Pretty cool. People are excited about it. I've been kind of spreading the word a little bit before having you on the show. But it's interesting. What's your favorite type of build?
That's a tricky one. I like the Mediterranean style, but then I like to pull aspects of like modern contemporary lines in the interior of the home. So it's like I have one style for the outside and then a completely different one for the inside. And that's the challenge too with people. If you are, like you guys said, you build your own home, some people love to make all those decisions, and some clients completely get overwhelmed because you're basically designing everything from the ground up, like you said, starting on a blank canvas.
Yep.
So it's not for everyone in that aspect, because it does involve more decisions than just going into a house, touring it, and saying, okay, I kind of like it, I might change the paint or whatever.
Yeah.
But it'll do, So yeah, I kind of have more than one style, and as I'm meeting more and more builders, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I really want to list my house soon and build something for us.
There you go. Yeah, that's the idea. And then you look at buying the canvas, the blank canvas, the vacant land in Pinellas County, hard to come by.
Yeah, it is.
Hillsborough County, even, it's getting harder to come by. You got to go up north to Pasco sometimes, and finding out east. People are going more east, so that's the hardest part. A lot of times is finding that nice lot where you want to be, depending on if it's in a gated community or not. And that's a big challenge.
A lot of components to that, and honestly, you're right. Like land is like the one thing that we're not making any more of, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times it might be a tear down.
That's right.
Which is also, a lot of the builders obviously in Tampa are doing that, right?
Yeah.
Finding these buildings that are about to go down. Yeah.
$1 million tear down in South Tampa.
Exactly.
There's our next HGTV show right there.
$1
million tear down. All right, stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. More from our expert contributors and our feel-good story of the day. Toddler diagnosed with rare ovarian cancer is now cancer-free. And we'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by Trulieve on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
Welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We'd love to help you win in your negotiations, whether you're buying, selling, or investing. We'd love to talk to you. We got a great team here in Tampa Bay and a couple of hot listings here I want to let you know about. We've got a property. This is one of my favorite properties that we have listed right now. 12610 Port Marnock Drive in Odessa, Florida. Gorgeous property, great floor plan, and just a wonderful opportunity. And this is a property that's in the gated community of the Turnberry at the Eagles. And if you check out our TV show version, you see that we've got the drone photography compliments of Fabre Frameworks. You got water views in the front and back, and it's a great opportunity in Odessa, gated community, pool and spa right on the golf course. 12610 Port Marnock Drive in Odessa. Great real estate property here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Also, 223 South River Hills Drive in Temple Terrace. This is close to USF. It's an executive style home, 5 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, single family home on a conservation lot on the Hillsborough River, almost a half an acre in the heart of Temple Terrace, right on the river. I love that lake life, the river life. I grew up on the Clusatchie River in South Florida, and just what a lovely lifestyle you have there, especially for children to be able to go out and jet ski and kneeboard on the river or the lake. Great opportunity. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.com.
The lightning round.
Whoa. Wrong button. All right. So we've got Lindsay's in the house, Lindsay Rhymes, and Feng Shui of Tampa Bay. Now, you mentioned people are using this more for office now. So you've got the Feng Shui in the office, and not only just homes, but more and more corporations are going to that style.
Yeah, that's right. So I work with both residential and commercial. There's, different tasks that you give to different employees, and somebody who's a salesperson versus somebody who's a creative or someone who's the human resources director, they have different things on their plate, and the way that you arrange the furniture in that person's office, or even, if you've got cubicles and stuff like that going on, which direction are you facing the desk? When you're negotiating, there's a certain direction that you want to be facing so that you can influence the other person a lot stronger. So those are things to take into consideration. And, being in business for so many years, running and owning a business for 12 years with a lot of salespeople, you have different aspects that come into play with that. And making some simple adjustment, like changing the direction of the desk, is going to make a huge difference. Some of your employees might actually be people that I would say fanning the flames, causing more challenges to hop up in the office, and some people are more subdued and maybe need a little bit more fire in their belly and a little bit more energy, and you can actually change the space to accomplish those goals, which is really cool.
That's pretty interesting. So in negotiation, I love that topic, negotiation. What's the best way to face them?
North.
So you want to be facing north. You want your opponent or counterpart facing you, which would be facing south.
That's right. So whenever I show up for meetings, if I invite somebody out to a cafe or a restaurant or whatever, I'm aware of what direction I am facing, and I'm always facing the northern direction. If I'm on a telephone call and I'm having a conversation with somebody where I want to influence that other person and achieve and accomplish my goal, I'm always making sure that I'm facing north. Every direction gives you a different type of energy, and those are things to be aware of.
Yeah, that's interesting. Does the iPhone have a compass on it, I think?
Is
that what you do? So you turn it.
The iPhone has a compass on it, but I actually keep a compass in the car, in the console, in the car. So anytime I'm going in to view a property, either for a client who's interested in buying or a client who's interested in listing, my compass is around my neck. I also have a tape measure with me as well. So I'm always thinking in those different perspectives and scopes, whether it's residential or commercial.
So what are some other misnomers that you find with Feng Shui?
Actually, Mika and I were just talking about one on the break, and she's like, "Oh, I gotta face my feet so they're not facing the door," and that's more of a superstitious thing. You know, really, the important thing for that is where is your head facing. So when you're sleeping at night and you're laying down, which direction is your head going in? That's way more important than are your feet facing the door. And a really simple fix like that can change if you're having challenges as a couple. Changing the way that the bed is placing can change the whole vibe with the relationship. We actually had a client that we were working with, and we went in to kind of assess the situation. And there was one painting in particular that was on the wall, and actually had a religious connotation to it. And when you ask the couple about the painting, neither of them had any issues. But when you scan the energy of the painting, it really wasn't to the highest good of the relationship for this couple. And so we ended up taking the painting down, and immediately within a few days, the arguments stopped. The relationship got a lot more open, felt a lot more light. And really what it boiled down to is subconsciously in the gentleman's mind, he was raised a certain way in a certain religion, and that painting brought some sort of subconscious energetic thing that was going on that caused some sort of energetic issues, maybe thoughts of things from his past or something like that. And removing the painting totally changed the relationship and the feel of the room.
Yeah, if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking with Lindsay Rhymes, Feng Shui of Tampa Bay, pranic healing palmharbor.com is her website. And I think, I've been to a lot of these different meetings with you or the retreats, and it's interesting. But I think when the instructor, I think it was Master Glenn at the time, one of the things that, for those that are out there that are thinking, this is a bunch of this or that, they don't really believe in it. Yeah. One of the things that initially caught me is when he said, you go like this and you kind of rub your hands and you generate that energy between your hands, and then you go like this, you can feel it. So it's not there. I don't see it. So for that person that, again, going to the personality types, the, assertive versus the analytical versus the underwriter versus the salesperson, there's certain types of people in the world. But when you do that, you feel that, right? So is that one of the best ways to help people understand it? Yeah.
There's that. You actually have chakras on your hands, on the palms of your hands. So what you do is you just kind of gently press in both of the chakras to activate them. You rub the hands for, 60 seconds, and then you kind of slowly, pull the hands apart. And some people will say they feel heat. They might feel like they're kind of pulling, something gummy from one hand to the next. You can feel it. The other way that I relate it is, most of us have been in situations where we walk into a room and there's a few people in the room, and even though it's silent, we can tell they've just been fighting. The room feels heavy. That's energy. And when you are dealing with the public as a real estate agent or as a business owner or somebody who's working with clients in the health field, you're actually walking in other people's energy. So that dirty, congested energy that needs to be cleared, it may not come from you. It may just be a situation that you walked into or somebody else kind of putting that energy on you. You've heard people say, man, I've got this one friend, every time I'm with them, I just feel like they suck the energy out of me. They're energy suckers, and that's actually causing you to deplete your energy because they've got something going on with them that really needs to be cleared. Yeah,
energy vampires, they're out there. They definitely are the negative Nancys, those types of people that pull you down. You feel it. And I've had clients in the past where I just, I see the phone ring and it's like, you don't want to answer the phone, but you do because you want the commission. So it's one of those catch-22s. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So we're talking about Feng Shui here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Feng Shui, and it's a growing, it's one of those areas that are definitely growing. As you mentioned, the green, the LED certified, the lights, the different. We have a lot of partners with the show that are kind of in that theme, and even with the CBD doctors and those types of more openness to trying different things. People that are traditionally with the FDA, you think about the pharmaceutical drugs, the narcotics, heavy narcotics. Oh, the kid's got ADD, he's not paying attention in school. Well, I think, a lot of us were like that in school, right? Now we're just describing lithium, which is a metal to take these, for these kids to think. So, a little bit of a bunny trail, but I think it's all interconnected as the consciousness of not only Americans, but Europeans, around the world. The consciousness is growing and expanding, and people are more accepting about pranic healing and Feng Shui.
Yeah, that's right. And when you think about mental health, Mika and I were just talking about that on the break. There's a lot of stuff in the news right now about mental health, and it's a real thing. If you're having challenges or feeling a certain way, there are alternative options other than, getting on a medication that, you may not want to get on that medication. And people are open to that, and they're aware of that. Meditation is a huge thing. I actually teach meditation. And, personally for me in my life and my relationships, I've seen a lot of really awesome successes from it. And I work a lot with kids too. And I see some big differences with kids and families that I work with just incorporating meditation. Just that, 10 minutes a day. Not even incorporating the energy healing, which then takes it even to the next level. But it's huge.
How can they contact you? pranichealingpalmharbor.com?
Yeah, or just give me a call on my cell phone, 617-792-3385.
All right. And when we come back, more from our expert contributors, more from Yamika McGee, HGTV's 90-day dream home coming up. And we have our feel-good story of the day as well. Toddler diagnosed with rare ovarian cancer is now cancer-free. And more from our expert contributors, of course, Lindsay Rhymes here in studio. And we'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at consumerqb.com.
Ian Beckles.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by True Leaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And this segment is brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brothers Easy Moving. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, they are a first-class organization. They do a great job with their moves, and they are among the best-reviewed movers in all of Tampa Bay. On Google, they hold a 4.6 rating, 4.5 rating on Yelp, and they've also won the Super Service Award multiple times. Big shout-out to Brothers Easy Moving. Give Gary Thacker, he's the owner, a call. Let him know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and take him up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, a hot property up in Port Richey, 7519 Pier Road. This is in Port Richey. It's a great opportunity for that business owner, that entrepreneur. The owner says it'll be perfect for a car lot, maybe even develop it into some condos because it's close to the river there in that new Port Richey line there where you have the Hooters and the other restaurants right on the water, very close to that. 7519 Pier Road. 9950 Hilltop Drive in Newport Richey. This is an opportunity for a single-family home. Very, very nice entry-level home here. $199,000 with acres of land. You got 3 acres of land here at 9950 Hilltop Drive, Newport Richey. Check out all of our real estate properties at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. So we're back here in studio. We got Yamika McGee in the house, HGTV star. We got 90-day Dream Home coming up, so you got to be excited, man.
Man, it's still weird when you say that. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's really happening.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
right.
The energy. The energy's good.
That's right. Yeah. So it's awesome. So you get to work with your hubby, Brian, and you guys are working together doing these 90-day Dream Home builds. It's got to be a pretty cool opportunity for you.
It is. And, it's funny you say, like, working with my hubby, there's challenges to that, too, right? Because when you get home, if you have the same job and you're always together, you kind of bring that home. So I'm thinking we might need to do, like, a Feng Shui thing.
Yeah.
Because, we are both very, very outgoing. And you'll kind of see on the show, he is a character. So it's kind of nice, though, that we do have different roles where he can kind of go out to the actual construction site and he's working side by side with the, project management. So I kind of let him do his thing. But then when it comes to the families that are being, moving into the homes, I'm really side by side with them and helping with a lot of design decisions and really just trying to tell the story.
Yeah.
Because every person is so unique and why they're moving, like what it means to their family and their backgrounds and stuff like that. So I think that's why people like that feel-good HGTV shows, is because they kind of give you that like warm and fuzzy a little bit.
So the story behind also is some of these families are coming. The story behind the family is that they're coming from a situation where they had a personal trauma or maybe something with a veteran or someone like that. So each little family is going to have a different story.
They will, and so kind of the way it works. Obviously, me being a realtor, I have clients that I am trying to get on the show, but a lot of it's going to be really based on where they're building, what the aesthetics of the home is going to look like, and then really their backstory, because we want this to be pull at the heartstrings and just have a little bit of emotion. We don't want a cookie cutter house or a cookie cutter show. So that's kind of what we're trying to do, is make sure that we can bring something unique to each episode to keep people engaged and interested. Yeah,
I like that. That's an interesting flavor, and I love the idea of bringing in local area businesses. So local area businesses, companies out there. If you're wanting to be a part of the show or would love to get in contact with Mika, just reach out through our website consumerqb.com. We'll put you right in touch with her. There's a website email submission form right on the website consumerqb.com. So what else are you thinking with the show coming up? I mean, it's right around the corner here.
Well, I'm thinking about how hot it's going to be when we're filming.
Yes.
We're starting around the second week of July, which is like, really? But it is going to be different than our first episode. When we did our AKA pilot, if you want to call it, we had to do a lot of stuff without assistance. You know, we were out there, no air conditioning. I'm doing, you know, wardrobe changes, trying to fan off the sweat. Like, that sweat was real that you saw on there.
Yep.
And, you know, so we didn't have the full crew that you get once you go to season. Once you go to season, the budget's higher and you get more, you know, assistance with a lot of those things. So I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Like hair and makeup, that would be nice for me not to have to worry about.
Yeah. Yep.
But, you know, more importantly, I think the adventure of going against the clock. You know, Brian and I are both competitive. We both, you know, played sports in high school, and so I think this is kind of a way that we're really, like, we've got a deadline. These people are expecting, you know, us to hit this deadline.
Yep.
So, you know, the pressure on there, it's legit, it's real.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. I've actually been involved with a couple of these different TV shows. The Sheffields had a show, and then I forgot there was a couple others. But yeah, it's interesting because you do a lot of this. You know, hurry up and wait. You know, show up, you hurry up, you get the filming going, you wait, and then then it finally comes out, and you know, you see the final product. So it's you know, a lot of shooting, a lot of, like, 14 hours to come into like a 5-minute. You know,
I wish it was 14 hours. Are you kidding? Well, I think that a lot of trial and error happened for episode 1, right? Because we didn't know what exactly the network wanted as far as following the process of the build. So we, like, filmed it all. We were, like, every day there was something going on. We were out there. But now they've had focus groups. They've given us feedback so we can really fine tune. And we're looking at probably about 8 to 10 days total of shoot time per project.
Cool.
But they're still condensing that down to 41 minutes after commercial, which I don't know how their editing team does it, but they slice it together and they tell the story and it comes out great. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What sports were you guys in?
Oh man, I did a lot of sports. I lived overseas. My parents were Air Force, so I did softball, soccer, flag football. Right now I'm on a competitive dragon boat team. I don't know if people know what dragon boat is. It's basically paddling.
Okay.
So I represented the Team USA a couple years ago and got to travel to Poland and different places for that. And we actually practiced right in downtown Tampa, right off the Hillsborough River.
Yeah.
Brand new boathouse. Thank you, Buckhorn. And so, I mean, I'm out in that community so much that it's just, like, so exciting to see it grow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what was Brian?
He's
baseball,
basketball. He's a basketball guy. He's 6'4". He still goes out and he tries to keep up with these young guys. Like, about 3 days a week they go out and they play outside. And I'm like, he comes home with injuries, knee aches, back aches. Sorry, he's not here, so I can totally say this. I'm like, we're not 25 anymore.
I miss that a lot. I miss playing hoops and, you know, just playing ball. And, you know, I played all these years and, you know, even like Pop Warner Super Bowl #1, high schools, you know, USF football. And then made it through all those without a major injury. Well, I rolled my ankle pretty bad, and then I go out and tear my ACL playing flag football with a bunch of friends. You know?
Isn't that how it always happens? But you know what? I think even with the show and how busy our lives are going to be, you got to keep that time, that creative time to yourself, or that outlet for. And you know, Lindsay probably knows this too. I mean, I feel like if you're not right within yourself, it's going to affect every single project you're working on. So it's real important to us, and we basically have let them know, hey, we're pretty flexible in our schedule, but we're going to need a couple days for family time for sure.
Yeah, that's fun. I've taken up racquetball lately, which is fun. I can take my 13-year-old daughter, but then, you know, it's funny. You go in there and play against some of these 70-year-old men, and you get beat because they've been playing for years. You know, they know the angles, they know how to hit the ball, and it's, you know, it's one of those things. All right, let's jump into our lightning round here.
The lightning round.
I am so good at lightning rounds.
I majored in lightning.
All right, here we go. Top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom. We'll start right here. Lindsay Rhymes, give me some top tips.
Top tips, I would say meditate every day. There's a lot of different meditations out there. One that I suggest is the Twin Hearts meditation. You can find it on YouTube. I would do Master Ko or Master Choa. It's guided. It's super easy. You don't have to sit in silence with your thoughts, thinking about
which is the hardest thing in the world. That's the hardest thing in the world
why
to do.
you're not focusing. I would say Twin Hearts meditation every day. That's the top tip.
Cool. I like that. Give me a top tip.
Oh man,
Micah.
I wasn't ready for the lightning round. That's how we're building these houses, lightning speed.
Yeah.
So you know what? My top tip would be for, you know, buyers that are out there that have been looking on the market for 6-7 months and they cannot find the right home.
Yeah.
And I have clients like that I've worked with for, oh my gosh, like over a year.
Yep.
You know what? The option of new construction could be an opportunity for you. So, reach out. I'm available right now. Like I said, even though we're doing the show, not every single client is going to be part of it. So I'm still doing my own, side hustle, and I'm ready to work with buyers. New construction is kind of my niche. So if you don't know anything about new construction, I will be happy to help.
And by the way, some of the best deals are in new construction, especially with buyer incentives, rebates back.
Yes.
They
closing
do
costs, all that good stuff. Yeah,
that's right. So there's a lot of good stuff there when it comes to the new construction. And then back to Lindsay's comment with the Twin Hearts meditation. We were just kind of talking with Don Hills in studio here. We're talking about Tony Robbins and some of the cool things. Master Co. and some of these folks that you've been training with actually teach at Tony Robbins events now, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's been recent, within the past year and a half or so. But Master Co. has done the Twin Hearts meditation at several of the Tony Robbins events. It's extremely powerful. I believe Tony and his wife also do pranic healing sessions as well. And it's a huge game changer.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love the idea of that. And then going back, and I've crewed some of the events. Once you go to the events, which I've been to Business Master, UPW, I walked on the fire, did all the fun stuff. You can go back and volunteer, which they call crew, for free, and just kind of take in the content. And you work a little bit, but you're running a mic, or I worked security one time. They had me work security. I didn't like that as much because I was in the back hallway watching the elevator thing or whatever, the stairwell, and I didn't get as much of the content, but it's fun stuff. Hey, another great show. Lindsay Rhymes, thanks for coming in. Mika McGee, thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing the HGTV 90-day Dream Home. We're going to have a big party somewhere?
Oh, yeah, we definitely,
all right, let's do it.
We will.
All right, cool. All right, as we always end our show, we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Pack up some food or clothing, carry it with you to and from your commute, hand it to that person that you see in need, and be a force for good in the community. Do something kind for one another, volunteer some time, donate some blood. Lots of ways you can be a force for good in the community. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter. Consumer Quarterback Show page is out there, as well as our YouTube channel and our iTunes podcast. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.
Are you a real estate agent looking to take your business to the next level and supercharge your marketing? Hi, I'm Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, syndicated radio and TV show talk program on iHeartRadio, 1025 The Bone, daily 5 o'clock drive time on 1380 The Biz, and our TV show is on WeBeam TV. We're looking for real estate agents that want to join our team and supercharge their marketing utilizing some of our innovative strategies. We utilize the Real Geeks platform, Facebook marketing, internet marketing, and a lot of the traditional methods as well. Postcard mailers mailed for you, postage, signage, business cards, all paid for by the company. Aggressive real estate splits and ways to help you win in any marketplace. We need you to go out, take applications, and work our plethora of leads that we're generating on a daily basis. Reach out by clicking the form below, and we'd love to have a confidential interview with you.